What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks, man. Welcome back. I got my guys in here. I got Tunk in here. I got Clayton in here. Make sure to like and subscribe, man. I think we're gonna have another great show as usual. It's getting to be a routine.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
So, but look, man, before we even get started, man, I wanna thank the guy Kent Carlson. Kent Carlson left a super chat yesterday, right? And also his message in that super chat was he was saying, watch out for Caitlin Clark today. Caitlin Clark, she gonna do her thing, and ratings are gonna go through the roof, right? And so we got caught up. I meant to read that in the chat yesterday, but we got caught up in the show yesterday. I didn't get to read that, but Kent wasn't wrong, man. He was right on point. She came in, no rust, you know, like seconds into the game. She hit like a 3-pointer with like 30-something seconds into the game. She just dropped one on him, man. And she ain't look like she had no rust on her, man. Like she was in her rhythm.
She definitely got winded though from the layoff.
Yeah.
That was one thing. But
how many games did she miss? How many games did she miss?
4. I thought it was 4.
I think it was 5 altogether.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay. So all right. So she missed 5 games, but man, like I said, no rust. So and she comes in against a team, the New York Liberty, man, who's what they was undefeated. Was New York was undefeated? Only undefeated team that was left. And they made it look like easy work. So my question to y'all, right? Like with that kind of impact, and I know what their record is probably about like 500 now. Let me check, like a 5-5 record or something like that. And you got Caitlin Clark, you got Nafisa Collier, and you got Asia Wilson, right? Asia Wilson, their team is they hovering around 500. But do you think, like, can you legitimately put her in that MVP race category because of her impact on not only her team but overall on like what she, ratings went through the roof. So that's not just her team, but and she elevated her team immediately, to a victory.
Yeah, well, the MVP conversation is really, really premature. But with that said, if you look at what she does, not just the scoring, but she's also damn near 10 assists. So she's just like some decimal points shy of averaging 21 points and 10 assists. That's like Nafisa. She averaging 24 points and double-digit rebounds. So to me, it equates, but when you look at her impact overall in the whole league and everything, I don't know if I would say most valuable equals the best player, but the most value.
Right.
And I think without a shadow of a doubt, nobody in the league has more value than this girl.
And see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said not just so if her team, if the Fever just would have won yesterday, you know what I mean? That's good. So that just right there. So all right, so she the most valuable to their team. Like her immediate impact to the Fever when she come back is obvious. But then when you outside of the Fever, when you talk about like how the ratings just shoot through the roof, now you talking about like, not just to her team, but to the league. And I'm like, okay. It's a whole different, And even though, like I said, her team is around like 500, that really, in my opinion, that just speaks volumes when somebody had that type of impact.
Well, at the end of the game, I'm listening to the press conference. It's a reporter from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
He tells Caitlin she's got a huge, huge fan base in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And he says 5 people flew yesterday from Hong Kong, 22-hour flight, just to come watch this girl play. That's ridiculous, man. That's
Yeah,
value.
that's heavy for real. That's
That's
heavy for
heavy.
real.
Yeah. So did you guys see? Did you guys see this clip going viral? It's this little girl and her parents surprised her. Right? They're going to Vegas on vacation, and they surprised the little girl saying, "We're gonna go watch Caitlin play. We got tickets already. Right?
Mhm.
We're on the front row, but we high up. That's all we could get." The little girl shrugged it off. This girl was crying, like bawling, crying.
Yeah,
He was so excited. So Caitlin saw that
yeah,
and told the little girl, check your DMs. And they went in the DMs and she left a personal thing for her. But it's stuff like that, man.
mhm.
You got little girls crying over you, shit
Yeah,
like that. So that's a lot. That's a lot. That's value,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, and I thought, Time, welcome back, man. Time, welcome back to the chat.
Yeah.
We was reading Time comments before we came on air, right? And so
Yeah.
Time makes some points, man, that I think we can get into.
Mhm.
What Time said, Urban. I guess people don't understand what generational means, right?
Mhm.
To me, it means to capture people's hearts. It means to capture people's hearts. That's number one. Number two, it means when you have the talent that is different from everybody else. You know what I mean? And so, like, just speaking on that right there, like as far as like capturing people's hearts, and then having a combination of like the talent to capture people's imagination, and then so that right there speaks to like like her impact and how special she is
Mhm.
when it comes to when it comes to the WNBA. And
Mhm.
you just can't deny it. You know what I mean? Like when you try to, when people say, well, whatever negative comments people say, well, that's just, if she wasn't white, you know what I mean, then she would not be garnering this type of attention, right?
Mhm.
But then you see her come out after 5 games off, people flying all around the world, beat a team that's undefeated.
Mhm.
I don't know, like, well, how can you attack that? You know what I mean? And like Tom said, it basically just boils down to hypocrisy and people just lying when you know what I mean. You can, that's just something you just can't deny. And so, yeah, Tom, I appreciate those comments.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he right on. You know,
I, I think yesterday was a great example of the difference, right? So if you look at Sabrina and Stewie, right?
yeah,
They had outstanding games. Sabrina dropped 34, right? But it's the way Caitlin does it. Like, you
yeah,
understand what I'm saying? You come out. I was reminiscing yesterday when she was doing them 30-foot three-point logo shots. It
mm-hmm.
reminded me of when Jordan was in the second game against Portland, and he just couldn't miss. But it
Yeah,
was the theatrics behind it. After the one, he just shrugged his shoulders.
yeah,
Caitlin gets Stewie out on top. Stewie Gardner, she
mm-hmm.
steps back, not just a three, a logo three with that girl's reach. She
Yeah,
buries it, and then she's giving Stewie the business in a fun way. She
yeah,
pushed her,
right,
and
right.
Stewie couldn't do nothing but laugh.
Yeah,
Because that shit is just insane, man.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
never seen anything like that yesterday. I really have.
yeah. So
Not
you
like that, man.
definitely had to
Not
give
like
her
that.
her
Yeah,
her props on that.
that
So
shit was
look, let me
ridiculous. Hmm?
but like we said, all right. So you got Caitlin Clark. Her team is 5-5.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
you got Nafisa Collier. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
Nafisa, what they like 9-1, something like that, around
Hmm.
9-1.
Yeah.
And she having an outstanding season 2, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of people say this Nafisa Collier should definitely be in that MVP race.
Hmm.
But when like what do you say though? Like how like the two when you talk about those two in that race, one team is winning way above 500, one team is at 500, but the impact that the young lady on the 500 team, should that outweigh what the other young lady is doing just for her team?
Well, see, you know how sports writers go. They don't really take everything into account.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota has a better basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
So Fee gets more favorable matchup. She gets a true, honest one-on-one matchup, where Caitlin doesn't. And Caitlin has less parts around her. So for Minnesota to be 9-1, and then if you look at the schedule and who they played so far, for them to be 9-1, that's great. You know, I'm not taking nothing away. But the question becomes, can Fee come to the Fever and have them 500?
Yeah, that's a good one too. That's a good, you know what I mean? Yeah, like so if they was to swap, like would Fee have that same effect on? Now, I think, to be honest, I think Fee can win anywhere she go. You know what I mean? Just because of it. But will she have that kind of effect on like drawing fans like the same way? Or you know what I mean?
That's the difference.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think Nafisa Kaya can win anywhere she go. But to have that same that Caitlin Clark type effect, that's that's where
now, let me ask y'all this. Say like if Indiana finished the season with a 500 record.
Yeah.
But Caitlin Clark does what she do. You know what I mean? 20-10, 21-10. Do you think she would be deserving of the MVP then?
I don't think the sports writers will give it to her. I think they would award it to Fee.
Yeah.
But me personally, like I said, the record to me is more about that whole team, and value to me is more about the value you have to the whole league and everything. So, and then I don't know. I just know the sports writers will give it to Fee.
Yeah.
If the Fever finish 500, and let's say Minnesota they got less than 10 losses, they will give it to Fee.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of doubt.
So now VVS says that Caitlin's responsibility for her team is too big, man. I just think that she gotta. So if they finish, hypothetically, if the Fever was to finish like at 500, then that would mean that they have to, as a organization, they got to go back to the drawing board and to put like the right people around her. You know what I mean? Like to be able to assist her to go beyond that, because like you really can't ask her to do any more than what she already is doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
maybe, maybe, or maybe it might be a thing where they really are a new team right now because they only returned 5 players. So you're looking at a whole new team. It might be a thing of learning to play with each other too.
Yeah. There's chemistry and there's a learning curve, but but it shouldn't. You know what I mean? Hopefully, it won't take like a whole it won't take a whole year. Let me see. This team without Caitlin couldn't beat the winless Suns. Let me see. As soon as she back, they go. You know what I mean? They look confident and they beat an undefeated Liberty. That's big.
I want to say something too, Mike. You said you think Fee can win anywhere. I like to say Fee can produce anywhere, but to win anywhere, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if you put Fee on the Suns and they winning games.
Yeah, but I mean, she gonna do what Fee do. Just like what I mean. We talking about the same thing with Caitlin. Caitlin is on the team right now, and they 500. And so they just look like a whole different team when Caitlin Clark came back. As far as like one somebody in the chat just said, they just look more confident.
Let's look at this, okay? So the year before Caitlin got to the Fever, I think they won like 3 games or something like that, right?
Around that, yeah.
Yeah, so she come that same team. Now all of a sudden they win 20 games, right? But this is the thing that Caitlin does because she facilitates. She's getting them girls bunnies, layups, easy shots, open looks.
Yeah.
Which contributes to the win. I don't know if Fee could have came to that team and lifted them to 20 wins because Fee don't handle the ball. She's not a facilitator.
I don't know what her, her skill set and stuff like that.
Right.
Because she, like her skill set, even with the team that she on right now, she may not even be required to do that. Right.
That's not her skill set. Right.
Yeah.
But she's a great talent, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I just thought that all right, so let me see. OG I like your analysis, but if you take SGA, put him on the Minnesota Timberwolves, and you put Anthony Edwards on Oklahoma team, will you be making Anthony Edwards the MVP? What'd you say, Tom?
No.
Yeah.
No.
SGA, go ahead.
Right now, today, SGA is better.
Mm-hmm.
He's better. And if they was to swap teams, Minnesota would be a better team. If they would swap teams, Minnesota would be a better team because SGA is better. Now, I know y'all like like Clayton was saying, you know what I mean, the theatrics and the smiling and the shoulder shrugs and all that. But when you come right down to it, he ain't better than SGA. I mean, he ain't better than SGA. Now he might be more relatable.
I agree with you on that. I don't think
he
SGA
might be more relatable because people say, "Oh man, you look at him, he having fun and all that." I really don't get into that too much. But I don't think if you swap them that Anthony Edwards will be an MVP. I don't.
I'll say this. I wouldn't necessarily say Minnesota be better because SGA is a point guard. Now, the players around him, they outstanding. Williams and some of them other guys, Minnesota don't have that. So yeah, FGA will do his thing, but I don't know necessarily if Minnesota would be a better team.
You think he's a point guard, right?
He's the point guard, yeah.
Well, that's what he does. He make other people better.
Yeah, but I don't know if the personnel on Minnesota is capable of doing what the personnel in OKC is capable of.
You know why I think
you still got to knock down those shots and stuff. You got to be able to play. You know why I think
SGA will make them better because SGA he create opportunities, easier opportunities. So you're not gonna have to work as hard one-on-one. You moving. He drawing the defense, they collapsing on him. Then you going. It's the same thing with the team that he on now. So you collapse, he pass it out. Then you just got to hit that shot.
Well, let's take into account defense. That the way that team plays defense, I don't know if Minnesota has the personnel to play defense like that. And one of the reasons OKC is the best team in the league is because they play outstanding defense.
Yeah,
I don't know if Minnesota got the same personnel. I just don't believe that.
Sound like you letting your man Anthony Edwards off the hook a little bit.
No, I'm not letting him off the hook. I'm just saying to the point would Minnesota be better?
Yeah. And I'm saying when you're a point guard, and that's your job to make people around you better. And that's GA, you know what I'm saying, mentality. That's his game. Even though you know he can score, you know what I'm saying, even though he can score. You know, he has a point guard mentality. So getting other people involved would be a priority for him.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, can they do it on defense? That's all.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're letting your man off the hook a little bit, but you know what I'm saying?
But Ant-Man is not a point guard. He played point guard, but he's not a true point guard.
Yeah, because that's your man. That's your main man. So you let him off the hook.
I like him, yeah, but I'm not letting him off the hook. No, but let's really evaluate it if we want to talk about the whole team being better.
But now you want to itemize.
No, I'm taking you guys' statement. If he was on Minnesota, they would be better.
Man for man.
So now I'm evaluating the whole team.
Or team, put them on the other.
Wait, so you evaluating offense and defense, right?
Yeah. To say that Minnesota would be better. Yeah. To say that Minnesota would be better, yeah. I have to.
So how do point guards typically make teams better on defense?
Right.
Yeah. So
that's why I'm saying that statement is a blanket statement. You can't necessarily say that.
Well, when we talk about making people better, though, as a point guard, you don't typically like transfer that over to defense, though. Like we never said that Magic made Michael Cooper better on defense.
No,
we never said that Magic made
right.
What's the dude that wore the Jerry curl? I just was referring to like his offensive, AC Green. Okay,
and even with offense, you don't know if Minnesota's personnel is capable of making those up and shots and doing what the personnel he got in OKC is capable of doing.
Yeah.
Even if he gives them easy opportunities. I give you guys an example. Yesterday watching the game, Caitlin gave them girls easy layup bunnies and they was missing them. You just don't know. The personnel has to be able to cash in what SGA is providing them.
Yeah, that's what I said. Once he draw the team to you, you got to make it. Same thing like with you just got to make those easy shots. Yeah. So, and let me say this. Let me read what Tariq said. Right. So Tariq said they beat a Liberty team without Jones and what's the other young lady name?
Phoebus.
So, what's her name?
Phoebus.
All right. So
Phoebus. Yeah.
All right. So he said, take the win, but don't go crazy. Right. So let me ask you this then. Do you think and Tariq also says that the Fever 500 with CC Caitlin Clark, right? So do you think that we placing too much emphasis on her return and her impact?
No, her impact is what it is.
Yeah.
And as far as him saying take the win, they beat without Jones and Phoebus. They had Jones and Phoebus the first time, and actually the referees put Sabrina on the line. That's the only reason they beat them down the stretch. They had them on the ropes then. They was up 14 going in late. So to say that the Fever can't play with them or the Fever couldn't beat them with them, I don't know. We have to let the season play out. But I thought they played them excellent the first time they played.
Yeah.
And they should have pulled out the win. Even Breonna Stewart said we got away with some. We ain't playing our best. I mean, so yeah, that's people want to hang on that to try to diminish the win. But however way you look at it, I thought it was a great win for Indiana.
Let me go ahead. Yeah, Town. Let me see what Town said. Let me see. Is this the one I wanted to read that Town said? Oh, no. Town, this one right here said, OG, you're exactly right. If SGA goes to Minnesota Timberwolves, he would be the female Caitlin Clark. Yeah, I just like the fact that he a point guard and he able to distribute and hit the open man. But also courtside, man, welcome back. Courtside Junkie, welcome back to the chat, man.
You know what? I think I just seen his video this morning.
Who, Courtside Junkie?
Yeah, I think he did a video on breaking down the highlights of Caitlin this morning. It's just the same person.
Yeah, Courtside, let us know, man, if you got a video out there, man. Breaking down what he broke down to Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, he said Caitlin gave him a shot of that dope in the arm and fever. I think that's the same guy. I watched it this morning, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, man. I just thought it was a good game. Like I said earlier in the conversation, I just didn't see no rust. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking that yesterday I was expecting to see a little bit of rust, coming back from missing 4 or 5 games. So but we didn't see that,
Yeah. Well, it's one for the ages. I just thought it was one for I've never seen nothing like that in my life, man.
Yeah.
That was crazy how deep them threes was, man. And it's just like delivering in the moment, man. That's on national television.
Big game,
3 o'clock, big game. And she gives the fans exactly what they want, man.
Yeah.
And she don't have no fear. She let that bitch fly. Some of them shots I couldn't even have just had the courage to take them.
Yeah. Was they in Indiana? They was in New York? Where
they was in Indiana. They was in Indiana. Yep.
Yeah.
No. So and I watched the ratings. I wouldn't be surprised if that shit hit over 5 million yesterday.
Yeah. I know. I don't know exactly what the ratings was, right? But I do know that everybody said
they were competing, but nothing yesterday. What they had, like some golf on and maybe some baseball or something. So that'll help too.
Yeah. So let me see. Patrick N, welcome to the chat. Patrick M says ref gave New York 35 free throws the first game. I mean, it's just ridiculous calling. And so people been complaining, excuse me, about the calls and stuff, like, and you mentioned it, like when Stewie said they got away with one or they got away with something. So
even yesterday, They went to the free throw line 24 times.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
New York did?
Yeah, New York.
Yes. Now, how many? You know how many free throws the Indiana shoot?
Nowhere near that.
Is it
Nowhere near
because the styles are different? You think that could play a part because the styles are different? Seem like Indiana shoot. You know what I mean? They shoot a lot of jump shots, and maybe New York play. You know what I mean? A little bit inside more.
Well,
you know that.
Well, I know Stewie got fouled shooting mid ranges. I know Sabrina get fouled on the drive. They had Indy in the bonus real early, so any kind of foul off the dribble put them on the line. So they was in the bonus way early, you know. So
yeah.
That could be, but that make you make a good point though. You know, if you're going inside, but the last game Indy was going inside to Aaliyah. She dropped 30. They was going inside out, and still the same result. So I just think New York, man, they got that. You know, they got that cash in the league, and for whatever reason, the whistle they get a favorable whistle.
I think Tariq addressed that right, but before we get to that, Eastside Legend said it's obvious to me CC was never healthy to start the season. She had a lot more energy and quickness yesterday, and I think she finally healthy. So did she look like she had more spring?
Yes.
Yesterday she
did
look
faster.
like she had more spring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plus, I think she dropped some of that muscle weight she put on the off season.
Yeah.
I think that was slowing down a little bit. So after you get the plan, you'll lose some of that. But I think she was completely healthy. She was flying up and down the court yesterday.
Yeah.
So he makes a good point.
And Tariq says, all right, you're not drawing fouls if you're a jump shooting team. And I think that's a good point when you talk about how the foul disparity between New York and then and the Indiana Fever, right? So the Fever don't play well in the half court sets. They score easy transition buckets and threes. The Liberty are driving, and I mean that's facts. That's like right on right there, you know. And
well,
so look, with that being said,
he makes a good point. But the Liberty got a free throw advantage over every single team in the league.
Yeah, because you got Stewie who like to go to the basket and penetrate. Then you got Jonquel Jones who operate, you know, inside that paint. So yeah, they are going to shoot a lot of free throws. Yeah, but Briscoe, what Briscoe said? Briscoe 76 said, let me see. Stephanie White just needs to keep putting the ball in CC hands. So we spoke. Well, you mentioned that yesterday too, like put the ball in Caitlin Clark's hands and let her operate the way, you know, like what's comfortable for her. Yeah. So I thought that was a good point, though. You know what Briscoe said. Just allow, you know. Do you think she'll stick with that style of coaching though? As far as like, I figure as long as they and Tongue, you weren't here yesterday, right?
No.
But I said a lot of coaches, like they'll give you some leeway on offense if you play the way they want you to play on defense. You know what I mean? As long as you go hard on defense and you follow their formula, that you know they'll give you a little bit more leeway on the at the offensive end. Have you ever heard coaches had that type of philosophy though, Tom?
Yeah, I have. You know, they give you a little bit more freedom on offense if they see you strapping up on, you know what I mean, giving the effort on defense.
Yeah.
I've heard of that. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's always like you exert on defense. You know what I'm saying? You exert on defense, and then on offense you can kind of, you know what I mean, pick your spots. You know what I mean? But on defense, always try to, you know what I mean, get after it and go all out.
Yeah. But I thought it was a good game. I just thought I was gonna see more Russ, man. And so
you were saying, Clay, you think she got tired? What, like in the second half, maybe? You think she got
the end of the first quarter, she was bent down on her knees. She was gassed.
Second win. She had to get that second
win. Not playing all those games. And the thing about it is she put it all out there. She had so much adrenaline.
probably the excitement took stuff out of it. You understand? Excitement being back and stuff like that. That might have took a little out of it.
But she don't never call for a sub. She called for a sub yesterday.
Yeah.
She don't never call for those subs.
Yeah, but she probably was extra hype about getting back. You know what I'm saying? Home team and everything. Yeah, against an undefeated team on top of that. Yeah.
One thing I'm gonna give Stephanie White credit for yesterday is she did the Bobby Knight thing a little bit, and this is what I mean. In the press conference, when they was trying to heap a lot of praise on Caitlin, you know, asking Stephanie what did she think about the first quarter and stuff. Stephanie gave her love, but she mentioned, she missed Doncic in the corner on an assist. So I think I'm gonna have to introduce her to Donis in the locker room so she knows who she is, right? So, and she also talked about the turnover. Like, so I think I understand where she's going with it. Like, she coaches Caitlin and she picks out the things because that way she keeps her team. Like, she don't lose her team. She tries not to favor Caitlin. So as much as Caitlin doing good things, she always pointing out what needs to be worked on. So it was almost like that conversation Bobby Knight had with Michael. He had an immaculate half. It was nothing he really could say. So during the Olympics, so he went in the halftime and said, Michael, you need to set more fucking screens. He just had to find something, you know. And Mike said, you said I was the fastest guy you ever seen, right? He said, yeah, I said that. He said, well, I'm setting them so fast that you can't see them. Like but Stephanie, I understand what she's trying to do. It's just like Bill Belichick. He used to coach Tom Brady hard because the rest of the team would respond favorably to that. You know, you don't want to play favor. So I will give her a little bit of credit when it comes to that. And I'm gonna see how it play out. Like I said to you guys yesterday, what I saw thus far was not cool, but we'll see how it play out, you know. That girl, you just gotta let that girl go, man.
Yeah, man. Do you think that they'll be able to have the same type of relationship that like what Popovich had with like Tim Duncan? You know,
I think they already have a great relationship. I think they built their relationship during her college years because she was doing the play-by-play and they used to always talk and spend time. That's one of the reasons too she came to Indy, not only of personal reasons, but so I think they already got a relationship. And I just think Caitlin understands that she's gonna be coached hard by Stephanie, and I just think it's cool.
That's real. That's real important for the team's player. Be coachable and allow the coach to coach them a certain way. You know what I'm saying? I think that's real important. You mentioned Tom Brady, like you say, Tim Duncan, those guys, like, okay, you know, I don't mind being coached hard. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind being coached hard. You know what I'm saying? Ray Lewis was another one. He used to talk about that. And he said, yeah, I don't mind being coached hard. You know what I mean? So I say the other people see it, and they don't see favoritism. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so, when you see the leader of your team getting coached hard like that, like with Tim Duncan and you talked about Tom Brady, then that let everybody else know that like it's a standard set there, and then so you got to perform up to that standard. If the leader is performing like that, you know what I mean. If you don't reach a certain standard or something like that, then you're not going to be able to survive there, and you know, on that team. So if you're a coach and you got that type of situation.
Yeah, because Popovich said he would pull Tim Duncan aside before practice even started. Say, man, I'm really going to get on you this practice. You know what I'm saying? I'm really going to get on you because I need these other guys to fall in line. I'm really going to be getting on you in practice. And Tim Duncan be like, all right. You know what I'm saying? He'd be like, okay. You know?
Yeah. And so Mo Palmer says that all Steph has to do is not do what Sides did and give Caitlin Clark complete control, leave that offensive tempo alone, and focus on that defense. And that con is you know, for what you know. So basically, we kind of said the same thing yesterday as far as like let Caitlin Clark operate at her pace on the offensive end. You know what I mean? And then once she, you know, and at the defensive end, so it's almost like a give and take between the coach and a player, you know. And so if the player feel like she's having success, then she'll be more cooperative. You know what I mean? It's like gaining her confidence, like, you know. So it'll be like give and take, in my opinion.
I think she found a favorable matchup on defense too. At one point, she had Sid Colson on the floor. She had Lexi on the floor, Aaliyah, Kelsey, and Caitlin. And then if it wasn't Kelsey, it was Sophie. But that combination of Sid, Lexi on the floor at the same time, and Sophie, they was coming up with some great defensive stops. And then you still had Caitlin out there to push the tempo. And you had Lexi, who knew how to play at that tempo, and Aaliyah. She still had familiar pieces. I think they found something with that matchup at certain times of the game, because that's when they got a lot of turnovers. And they had some good key stops and stuff like that. And plus, man, you got to give the Fever a lot of credit too. And I'm going to give Steph White more credit, because down the stretch, Caitlin was getting a little fatigued, and, you know, she was throwing up long ones and not making it. She pulled her aside and told her, you don't got no more you don't need the home run no more. Manage the game. So down the whole fourth quarter, Caitlin just settled down and managed everybody. And the other players stepped up to ice the win, like Kelsey and Lexi and them. They iced the win. So, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna give Stephanie. I'm gonna give her. You know, you got to see how it's gonna play out. But I thought she did a good job yesterday. She found a good matchup for them.
Yeah. So Top Gun says that Tim Duncan was in a class by himself, you know, on and off the court. I agree with that. You know, I don't even think like Tim Duncan really and he probably don't even want, you know, like credit and accolades and stuff like that, just because Tim Duncan's so laid back. Yeah. But I just like to use Tim Duncan as an example, though. Like when a coach get a player, like a franchise type player like Tim Duncan, and he able to have that type of relationship, that just speaks volumes, and that just set the tone for the rest of the team. And I don't know, like when you look at like Kobe and Phil Jackson, you know what I mean? Like Kobe, they trusted each other and they liked each other probably a little bit, but it wasn't like what you had with I don't think you could push Kobe buttons the same way you could push buttons with Tim Duncan, and because of his you know, his demeanor, his attitude, I don't think you could have had the same. You got to handle Kobe probably a little bit different than you handle Tim Duncan, basically. Would you say that, Tom?
Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, just that temperament. Kobe was a little bit more volatile. You know what I'm saying? A little bit more vocal. You know what I'm saying? A little bit more brash. A little bit more in your face. So you got to coach Kobe different. And both of them had very, very high basketball IQ. You know what I'm saying? So you can't insult them. You can't insult their basketball intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Because they know what's going on. They're saying the same thing you're seeing. So yeah, you definitely got, you know what I mean, coach them two guys different.
Yeah. So look, when you think about like basketball IQs and that, right? When you look at SGA and then you look at the kid Halliburton, like I like some of the things that the kid SGA and Halliburton, I just like their responses to like a lot of the questions and stuff that they get like in the post-game interviews. To me, it just shows their responses just show like a level of maturity and like knowledge of the game. So, well, what do y'all think about those guys as far as like their maturity and their knowledge of the game?
I think they real level headed, and I think that transfers to they play on the court. They don't never seem to be out of control, even if they're not having a good game. They don't never seem to be out, you know, like out of control. And that's one thing you want out of your point guard. You want them to be even keeled. You know what I mean? No matter how things are going, you want them to be level headed, because if they panic, the whole team seems to follow suit. So,
right.
Yeah,
and both of them act like they've been here before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as the way they handling the situation. But do that go to like coaching though? Like when you get a kid in a new situation, like, you know, like championship, this both of their first championships, but both, you know, they acting like basically like they've been there before. as far as like how they managing the team and the situations.
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect marriage. I think when you have a good coach, and this is what's in these kids, it's a great marriage. So, you know, you can sit preparing for the game, what to expect. You watch film, and his maturity and the way he processed, the two things just go together beautiful. And I think both of these guys got it. Like both of them got it.
I agree.
So that makes me think of this though. Because I remember when I was younger, like, and a coach told me that, like, by the time a kid gets up into by the time a kid gets to play for a great college coach or even a great NBA coach, the coaches who coached him before that and brought him to that level, like those coaches are the ones who really don't get the credit. You know what I mean? Like he might have had great coaches in high school. He may come from like a great family, but then like those coaches and stuff like that, they get credit for that, you know, for like bringing that kid to that level when they should deserve some of the credit, but not really all of the credit. And that reminds me of like when I made a video about like Michael Jordan and him playing for Dean Smith at North Carolina, like playing for Dean Smith at North Carolina, that's almost like having like an Ivy League type, you know what I mean? Getting an Ivy League type education because of Dean Smith's knowledge of the game. But Michael Jordan come from a stable 2-parent household, which made him the kind of kid that would be receptive to the messages that Dean Smith was teaching at North Carolina. You know what I mean? So it goes all the way back down to your foundation is my main point.
No, that's a great point. That's a great point. And that's most great players are coachable. You know what I'm saying? Most great players are coachable. You don't see too many great players that's not coachable. And that's across all sports and all levels. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
let me ask y'all something. Would you put Allen Iverson in the category of being coachable?
No.
And Allen Iverson, one of my favorite players, but he's not and he will even say that, like when Larry Brown was attempting to get Allen Iverson to work harder and to lift weights, Allen Iverson was like, "What you mean? You know what I mean? I give everything on the court." And from his perspective, and from he thought he gave everything, but there were some things that Allen Iverson acknowledged that he could have done during his career that would, if he'd have listened to Larry Brown, that would have made him an even better player. And so that's what Kobe had, though. Kobe coming from a 2-parent household, Kobe's father played in the league. And so Kobe's father and his parents installed a certain temperament, work ethic, and something like with Kobe that Allen Iverson, although he was a great athlete, Allen Iverson didn't have that.
Do you think he was coachable at Georgetown under John Thompson?
Yeah. Yeah.
But see, this the thing with Allen Iverson at Georgetown. Remember, Allen Iverson, Allen Iverson came from a single-parent household, right? And so when he gets to Georgetown, he's up under John Thompson. And so for that drop in the bucket of his life, how did he stay there 4 years? 3 years, 4 years?
Two.
I think two. Yeah,
so for that 2 years, you know what I mean? Like that had a big impact on some of his maturity, but still, you know what I mean? It would have made a difference.
You don't have a say. If you're playing under Big John, you don't have a say. You're going to be coachable. Now, John gave him a lot more freedom than he gave a lot of players before Allen, right?
That's true.
And John even spoke on that. He said he believed he didn't want to bog him down, but so much because he didn't think he would be able to get the best out of him if he coached him that way. So he gave him a lot more freedom, but ain't no question he was coachable in Georgetown. Ain't no question. There's only one man in charge down there, and that's it. And his power was unchecked. You know what I mean? His power was unchecked down there. You know what I'm saying?
So is it safe to say that a great coach can coach anybody?
I would say that. That a great coach can coach. Yeah. A great coach can coach. But like you said, you just got to coach everybody different. My man, who I always thought, man, was a great coach. Dallas Cowboys. What's his name? Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson used to say he had a meeting with all his players, all of them at the same time, and he say, "Look, I'm gonna treat every last one of y'all different." Yeah, man, because you got coaches like, "Nah, everybody treated the same. I treat everybody the same." That's not true. That's not true.
Right.
He said he used the example of I think it was Dan Marino when he was down Miami, and he said if Dan Marino, he said if the third string quarterback fall asleep in a meeting, I'm gonna cut him. He said if Dan Marino fall asleep in a meeting, I'm gonna wake him up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He says it's a difference. He said you're not going to treat everybody the same, and if you're saying that, you're not being honest. Yeah.
So let me see. Now, Tom says that Allen Iverson is coachable. Don't make the mistake. His demeanor. Don't mistake his demeanor in the way he was, because he was definitely coachable with John Toms. Yeah, we agree that he was coachable with John Toms, but for some reason, him and Larry Brown didn't always get along. For some reason.
They didn't get along, but that doesn't mean he wasn't coachable, because I don't think that team goes to the finals if Allen is not allowing Larry Brown to coach him.
That's a good point.
And I don't think Allen Iverson wins MVP of the league if he's not allowing Larry Brown to coach him.
That's true. And he had to get with the program. He had to get with the program to some extent. He had to. You know what I'm saying? And I think he realized that. You know what I'm saying? I think he realized that. But
But I just think like that bond, like when you say, all right, so Top Gun says that Thompson became his daddy, which I don't want to use the word, but Brown became like an authoritarian,
a father figure.
So Brown, he kind of bucked the system when it came to Brown. Didn't really know how to relate to him like as much as John Thompson did.
I think that comes because Larry Brown great coach. I think that was more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes, man, if somebody tell you what to do, a parent, a coach, a teacher, or whatever, if sometimes they tell you what to do, but if they explain sometimes, like, this is why I need you to do ABC. If they explain to you, this is why I'm asking you to do that. You know what I'm saying? I think that plays part in you receiving that message. Instead of just saying, do it because I say do it. You know what I'm saying? Or do it because I'm the coach and you're the player, or I'm the teacher and you're the student. Things like that. It's almost like, all right, I'm telling you this what I need from you, and let me tell you why I need this from you. Sometimes it could be, the message can get across a lot better that way.
And even Larry Brown said that he learned some valuable lessons dealing with AI about himself and his own coaching style.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what Tom said, the fact that he was coachable at Georgetown lets you know that he was coachable, the type of player. Don't judge his character because Allen Iverson, like he said, Dennis Rodman. So he brought up Dennis Rodman too. I think Dennis Rodman was coachable. Dennis Rodman had Chuck Daly too. Chuck Daly was another dude that was like no nonsense. You know what I mean? Dennis Rodman, also all these guys are very intelligent ball players. So you can't really, with these intelligent ball players, like you got to be straight up with them, and you got to be firm with them at the same time.
Right.
Because if you try to blow smoke, man, then they're gonna, And that's what great coaches do, in my opinion. They build a relationship and they understand you. So they understand what makes you tick, some of the things they need to do, some of the things they need to let you get away with. I thought Phil was masterful with handling Rob. I thought John Daly, what was his name in Detroit? Chuck Daly. I thought he was masterful with Rodman, but in San Antonio, didn't work. It didn't work, but I thought that was masterful because, Phil wanted him to come in and do a job. And I think transparency is powerful. When you really transparent.
I think that's an excellent point. But I think Dennis Rodman, when he was in Detroit and when he was in Chicago, I think he respected the team's best player.
Mm.
He was in San Antonio. I don't think he respected David Robinson.
He didn't. He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah,
He
I
didn't. You're
don't
right,
think he
Tom.
respected David Robinson, and that's you know the pushback, so to speak. He made a statement in his book. He was talking about when they was going to play Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and and John Lucas asked David Robinson, "Do you want us to double down on King?" Right? And David Robinson say he kind of shrugged his shoulders and said, "If you want." And Dennis went off. Right?
Yeah.
Dennis like, "Are you crazy? You're the MVP." He say, "I can guarantee you, Elijah Wan ain't telling them to double down on you." You know what I'm saying? No, I got him. You know what I'm saying? No, you ain't doubling nothing. I got him. And I think Dennis just didn't respect David Robinson like he did Isaiah and like he did Mike.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I would push back on Dennis though. I would give David Robinson a lot of respect of being self-aware. He ain't let his ego get in the way. If he felt like he needed help, he said, "Yeah, help me." I think that's responsible too, because that's better for the team. But
you made that point before, you made that point before, and so go. I'm gonna let you finish your point.
I'm just saying. Sometimes you can bite off more than you can chew. Let your ego drive you, and I got him, and then you can hurt the team.
That's up to the coach to decide, not him.
Mm-hmm.
If the coach saying that you're getting hurt, playing this particular person one-on-one, then the coach say, "We gonna send help for David." You don't ask for it.
But did the coach ask David, "Do you want double?" And he said, "If you want to." Yeah. So the coach saw something there, right?
No, they in practice.
I'm just saying, but he saw something though, regardless if they're in practice or not.
Still don't ask.
Huh?
You still don't ask them. You just send help. You don't ask David Robinson, "Do you want help?" And if you do ask me, "No, I got it." Even if I don't.
I got you.
Don't.
So you said just the coach, don't ask him, just send it. I got you.
That's right. Just send.
Because now he's got to make a statement in front of the team.
Right.
He can expose him.
You're the best player team, MVP, and you're asking for help on a guy, playing your position. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know how hard that is, though, to admit you need help and to say it out loud? That's not easy to do either.
No. I'm not saying it's easy or bad. But I'm just looking at just being a competitor.
Yeah.
Being a competitor.
Yeah.
Kobe when Kobe was a youngster.
Yeah.
He was playing Chicago. Mike was killing.
Yeah.
Somebody say, "Hey, Kobe, man, we're gonna send help." You know what I'm saying? I'm a player. You know what I mean?
Right.
Flip it. You think somebody Mike, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you case in point.
Mm-hmm.
Magic, when Mike and Magic met in the finals, and Magic was when Mike was playing Magic, right?
Yep.
Mike was having a difficult time, right?
Yep.
Mike would have never said
he wouldn't.
Didn't help. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bill Jackson said, "No, we're gonna switch. I'm gonna put Scotty on him. Scotty longer, taller, gave Magic problems." Right? But if Phil Jackson would have said, "Mike, you gotta play Magic this whole series," Mike like, "All right, I'm gonna play him."
Yeah. Right.
You feel what I'm saying? That's the only point.
Right. No, that's a great point. I was just saying that if I was to push back on Dennis, it's like you're only gonna respect one type of person. And that's my thing. It's so many different types of archetypes that make up something. And David just ain't a dog. So just because he ain't a dog, I'm not gonna respect him. That would be my only conversation with Rodman. Like, that's it. But you make an excellent point. I mean,
let me give you another example. You talking about a guy, 5'3" tall, right? Going up against Michael Jordan. I just watched the interview Muggsy said. Muggsy was playing against Michael Jordan. Michael was backing him down. And Muggsy said everybody on that Charlotte team knew that I hate when to help. He said, "I hate when people came to help." He says, "I was down in Mike was backing him down. Mike turned around to he tried to do his signature fatal and Muggsy stripped him of the ball." What Muggsy said, no help. You know what I mean? And so I guess that, you know, that's the theme for a lot of great competitors and athletes in the league. Like, you know, let me handle this, because, you know, like when you start helping the players, then that make your team weak in other positions. You leave other guys wide open.
You're right.
And Chicago hated that they never doubled. You know, like when they was dominant, they didn't double nobody.
Nobody.
That's the school of logic that Dennis Rodman come from. You know what I mean? You don't double. Even the Celtics ain't like the double. The Lakers, when they didn't like the double people. So man. Let me. Mo Palmer said back in the days you couldn't pay somebody not to wear those Hoyas. Y'all remember those Georgetown Hoya sneakers?
In the jackets.
You know, I bet the jackets. I ain't know no sneakers.
I never had one though. I never had one.
I had a Georgetown jacket.
You had the Georgetown jacket, Clayton?
Yeah, I had the Georgetown jacket, puff leather, and a lambskin. Boy, I was doing it.
I ain't never get the I never get the jacket. I wanted one.
I had that blue one. Yeah.
Mom and pop like, no, you talking about the shiny one, right? The shiny one.
Yeah, you had the letters across the front, the starter jacket. Yeah.
Right. No, that's right. The starter jacket. Yep, that's it. No, I had one.
Let me see, Brian. Brian. I couldn't have said it any better about CC. Respect and blessings, and happy Father's Day. Okay, appreciate.
He talking to somebody else. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
That's why I said Brian.
Yeah. Who is? Oh, okay. Brian. What did Brian say? Brian said, appreciate you, Brian. First of all, appreciate you. Brian says, love your stream. Is it fair to say that CC is so popular because she's a rare female baller who has skills 99% of the dudes don't have? Let me see. I know I can pull up from within 30. Yeah, but I mean, she possess skills that not only a lot of women don't have. You're right, a lot of guys don't have. When I look at women's basketball, though, I just think that women are like, as far as like they are so much more like when their technical gifts, like they I don't know how to say it basically though, but men are like more physical, right? In the game, but women like their technique and stuff like be sound.
That's what I'm about to say, Mike. That's what I'm about to say. Yeah, they more
so much more sound, like their follow through, their form be much more sound. Only basketball player that I hear people say that like was like that was Michael Jordan. Like the only male basketball player people say like Mike was technically sound.
His footwork was impeccable.
Yeah, football. But when you look at the women's game, though, like technically women, their games be so much more sound and proficient than what the men's game is.
I put Kobe in that too. I put Kobe.
Yeah. Kobe footwork and his footwork was impeccable.
Yeah. Do you know what, man? A lot of women they don't develop them bad habits.
No.
There's a lot of women don't develop them bad habits. You know what I'm saying? When they start playing at an early age, they're being taught the fundamentals and they're kept throughout their career. Keep.
That's what I was looking for, like fundamentally sound. That's what a lot, and you get somebody like Caitlin Clark who's fundamentally sound like that. Like every shot it comes off it's the same way. You know what I mean?
Some people it appears like she might be more skillful because she actually shoots a jump shot. Women don't. I was watching some of the other girls like Fee. Fee has this thing where she slides her feet and just pushes it.
Like a set Sabrina. Shot. Like a set shot.
Even Sabrina, she kind of on the ground and she pushes it. But Caitlin jumps. She has a jump shot.
She gets off the ground. Yeah,
and that's different. That's different.
You don't see that a lot.
Yeah. You don't see that a lot.
Yeah. So Top Gun says, keep it real. I can't really watch the WNBA when CC isn't playing. It's just so different and blah. And they miss some layups, so many layups. Some teams I can't watch. For me, it gotta be I can watch Nafisa Collier play, I like the girl. I like Stewie and I like Inesco and Caitlin Clark. But yeah, some people I can't watch because
And you like Asia. Don't forget Asia.
Yeah, oh yeah, Asia is a
That's
beast.
all
I
you
like
talk
Asia.
about is Asia, boy.
Yeah, Asia is a beast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. So
Yep.
what this would
And
say. Let me see. How come women don't have technical gifts when finishing around the rim, having so many missed layups since the elementary school? And that's just goes to what Clayton just said. They don't, if you look at Angel Reese don't have no lift on her game, on her shot. So when she going to the board to make a layup, you don't have to jump. If you her height or taller, all you have to do is extend. You know, I watched Breonna Stewart block a couple of Angel Reese shots without even jumping.
Yeah, I seen that too. She's had her hands up. Yep.
So what Angel Reese needs to learn how to do is either she got to gain some separation. Like if she going to the rim, she need to learn how to put her body in between her and the defender so the defender can't jump and extend, or either she need to step back and gain some separation so she can get that shot off.
Do you think it's a coordination thing? Do you think it's a coordination thing?
Or I think it's a skill thing.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark will go to this. She don't care who in there. Caitlin Clark know how to create that separation. She understand angles and stuff like that. So if a great guard will understand them angles and they'll know when to let the ball go to time your jump. And so by the time you jump, you're not going to be able to catch it because you don't have that. Even in the NBA, like Chris Paul or Kyrie Irving can go in there and they'll throw the ball at an angle where they know you can't get to it. I don't care what your vertical is. If you can't touch the ceiling, you're not blocking that shot. So she don't understand the angles.
Tyrese takes great angles on a high backboard. He knows how to do that too. Tyrese, when he goes to the basket, he'll throw it way high up off the glass. Man, that's a skill in itself. Yeah.
So it's just like a understand. Like you have to. It's a certain type of understanding that you have to have.
Yeah. But it's a lot of great women that can really finish in the league. Like if you look at this girl in DC, Sykes, she jump out the gym like a dude. She's really athletic. Jones in New York, great finisher around the basket. Sabrina, great finisher around the basket. Stewie, great finisher around the basket. Enrique, great finisher around the basket. You know, it's a lot of players. I remember Kennedy Carter last year. She was great around the basket.
But see, we talking about guards. A lot of guards, you know what I mean? Like guards develop their floater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people who had that skill set of like scores, not just guards, but scores. You know what I mean? They develop that skill set.
I think Jewel Lloyd great around the basket. I think it's a lot of them, man. It really is.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it is, you do see a lot of missed layups though. But
yeah, a lot of missed layups. So we got somebody in the chat from Australia, JoJo West Austin artist, G Day from West Australia, folks, new to the WNBA, and a Caitlin Clark fan. Love her humility and the way she makes the game easy to watch, right? And she's always looking to her teammates. True team player. All right, JoJo, we appreciate that comment. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, man, I'm saying that's just, I don't know what you can say about like when people who can, and the thing about people who make the game look easy like that, it kind of make you, you know what I mean? It kind of make you mad because you really can't study them because a lot of what they do just go unnoticed. And we talking about like the angles and like you don't know unless you in that situation like how hard it is to get the shot off against somebody that's bigger and faster than you. So when you see Caitlin Clark, she going against what's the young lady name? Dejanay Carrington. She got the lateral movement and she got the length. And that got to be frustrating for you to have lateral movement and the length and the fist and the athleticism, and then this girl still scoring on you. Like, you know what I mean? But Caitlin Clark just make it look so easy. It's crazy when you got that kind of skill.
When you like that though, and you, I mean, you, like you said, you got the lateral movement, you got the size, the physicality and stuff. You just got to make her earn every bucket. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if she make them, she make them. You know what I mean? She making tough shots. Hey, you got to tip your hat. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
you got to tip your hat. You know what I'm saying?
This is like you said, you make them earn it. But see, this is where Dejanay Carrington is getting into trouble too. She wants her to earn it, but she going across the line far as like with that physicality, right? Yes. But what you need to do is cut down on her possessions. Try more so to deny her the ball. You know what I mean? Just like when we talk about Bernard King. Once Bernard King got the ball, he can score from like what? Anywhere on the court. It's basically over with. So you got to cut back on. Now you're not going to be able to cut back. And they do the same thing with what's the guy named Steph Curry. You cut down on his possessions. You're not going to stop them from scoring. He a scoring expert. What you going to do? Caitlin Clark, she that's what she do. She score. So you got to cut down. If she used to getting 40 possessions or 30 possessions, you got to cut that down by 10 and just hope that, she missed the rest. But,
Try to, you know what I mean, limit her touches or anything like that. You know what I mean, blitz her and stuff like that, make her get a ball up. But like you say, you put your whole defense at a disadvantage when you do that. Because she a willing passer. You got some people, man, who shoot the ball like that and can score like that. They're not willing passes. And I told you before, that's one thing about her game that surprised me the most. How good of a passer she is. You know what I'm saying? And she's a willing passer too. So
I remember Sue Bird last year. She talked about in the beginning how they was blitzing her, but she said, I knew that would change because when you get into them dog days of the season, you get tired of running around and pressing. Like that takes a toll on you too. So a lot of that, you trying to cut down on possessions and stuff, it's taking something from your legs and it's taking something from your offense to some degree because she's a bunny rabbit. She's an energizing rabbit. So she's constantly going, trying to get to that ball. So that's going to take something from your game on the offensive end too.
Make you go deeper on your bench. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you're not going to put your number one on her. You know what I mean? Right. You're not going to put your number one on her. You're going to put somebody off of that bench who you're going to send different bodies at her too. Yeah. You're not going, like you said, she's going to run you off the court.
Well, so far, Ryan Howard in Atlanta, she the number one. Yesterday, she had 36 points in 3 quarters. That girl gave Caitlin the blues. Caitlin wound up getting like 27 and 11, but it was tough. And then the one game, she didn't get that much. But yeah, Ryan Howard, she the number one thing, and she be in Caitlin's shit. She was. Yeah. She be in Caitlin's shit. So some people got the endurance for it.
Yeah, I know. I ain't never had no endurance like that. Be chasing somebody all day.
Not for 4 quarters. No, not like that. Remember
Ray Allen, Rip Hamilton, Steph Curry. Them dudes and in the fourth quarter be just as fresh in the fourth quarter.
Right.
And see, that's why you got people like Dejanay Carrington. Like I'm playing her physical. In the fourth quarter, she's still hitting jumpers. Like she did, you know what I mean? Like she did in the first. I guess after that, be like, all you can do is just be physical with her. Yeah, man. And so, Top Gun said, y'all make sure to click that button. Appreciate you, Top Gun. No doubt, man. Please click that button, man. Hit that like and subscribe, man. Yeah, man. Definitely. All right, let me see who else got something in here I want to address, man. Let me see what Top Gun said. I will never forget the first game CC played and AB played together in the preseason. Let me see. CC hit AB in the back of the head as she was. You remember that, Clayton?
No, I'm just shaking my head like I can imagine that.
Yeah. So look, a lot of times, right? When you play with a great point guard and sometimes you're not expecting the ball. Magic Johnson told a story about like when he hit AC Green with the ball. AC Green was cutting and was wide open
but
wasn't expecting a ball.
Yeah.
And so after that, AC Green said, "Man, I'm always, you know how to make a Magic. Them passes here, take your head off with them passes.
Boy, Magic passes
you know
came in hot too, boy.
It came in hot. AC was like, man, I'm always, even though AC Green was like, he was a defender and a rebounder. Magic ain't want to hear that. You know what I mean? And so if you playing with Caitlin Clark, and we talk about people, they miss the passes sometime, but that just come with learning. Like she might dribble with her head down, but if she see you move and she go to look at the ball, she coming up and she passed the, you know what I mean? They don't understand. They be like, oh, she had her head down. She knew where you was going at.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they were like, oh shit, she saw me.
I used to couldn't play with Wynn Barton because of that.
Yeah.
Because Barton could really pass the basketball. And I didn't like playing on his team because
I had to learn fast too when I played with Will Barton.
And for people who don't know, would throw me off. Yeah.
Will Barton Sr. played. We grew up with Will Barton Sr.
Yeah.
Will Barton Jr. played in the NBA, so we played with his father.
Yeah.
And his father was, man, he was nice. I don't know what. And he always, I mean, he saw everything on the court. Will Barton Sr. did.
Yeah. And I couldn't play with him. You gotta
be expecting that ball.
I could not play with him, man. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I didn't see the game like that. I saw the game with me having the ball in my hand. So don't get me wrong, I could play without the ball, just running around screens. But the way he played, man, it was next level. And he saw things, and you don't even think you open.
Mm-hmm.
And you open, and he delivering the ball, and so now you got to get the ball and be in position to score and stuff. And then also he demanded shit from you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't miss no layup. Don't miss no pass. He demanded it, So yeah, I used to love him. He actually sent me a happy Father's Day this morning, but I used to love him.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't play with him.
He was you definitely had to keep your head on it because he thought he was Magic Johnson anyway. Magic was his guy.
Magic was his guy.
And man, he'll look one way and throw it hard at you the other way.
Yeah. Barton was that deal. Yeah. But anyway, but that just makes me think of that. That's why I show those girls and some of them guys, I show them some grace because, man, that's not always easy to do.
No, it ain't.
Yeah.
Everybody don't have that. They're not even interested in really doing that, though. You know what I mean? Like, because they got a scorer's mentality. It don't occur to most people with a scorer's mentality, to be aware of where everybody is on that floor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who's coming down what lane. And then, you got your trailers and stuff like that. And you see dudes just dropping the ball off in the lane without even looking. But as soon as the breaks start, he know that who's coming in what lane, how fast they run, who got good hands. Don't give this ball player to play the ball outside the 3-point line. Wait till this dude get across the foul line before you just drop it in the. That's, man, all the information is going through your head, man.
He go to school? Where he go to school at?
He played for City.
He played for City.
College. Did he go to college?
Yeah, he went to Towson and he walked out.
Oh, he went to Towson? I didn't even remember.
He went to Towson. He walked. See, back then, you talking about the 70s, and he didn't have what a lot of the younger guys have now, and like even with Muggs and them coming through, Barton didn't have that. So he went to Towson, and because he was the best guy there, he wasn't going to start his freshman year. He quit.
Mm-hmm.
He quit. But I'm going to tell you, his son ain't better than him. His son more athletic, but his son ain't better than him. Nowhere near.
Your son went to Arizona, didn't he?
No, he played for Calipari at Memphis.
Yeah, he played at Memphis.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, junior not better than senior though.
No, not at all. Yeah,
not better than senior.
Great kid, great talent.
Senior didn't have the same opportunities that junior had, as far as in college and stuff like that. But senior was better. And I'm not even saying that because I played with him, because we grew up with him. It's just that if you watch senior play,
how big was the pop?
What Will 6'3"?
No, I think 6'2", 6'3". Yeah, but you remember in the 70s?
Huh?
Go ahead, Mike.
No, he only about two inches too taller than me.
Yeah, like 6'2", 6'3". But in the 70s, that was unheard of for a point guard. He was the point guard at City. He did everything. You heard of Duke and Kosher, haven't you, Tom?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He lit them two up. He lit them up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Barton was the shit. He really was.
So see, because I'm trying. So he probably around my uncle age then. Because that's my uncle said. Because I asked him this last night. And, he came out of Walbrook in '76. And he graduated. He came out of college. He came out of Virginia Union in '80. Yeah. So he probably around my uncle age then.
Ask your uncle, have you heard of Win Barton?
I know Will know. I know Will knows of him.
Okay.
You do know?
Yeah, he know Lily. Yeah, he came to do my. Will came out to the podcast one time, and
okay.
When I was down in the studio.
Yeah.
But so Top Gun says that Magic and Bird were maybe the two best passes ever, right? And I can agree with that. I just think that because Bird didn't play that point guard position, she's more so the forward. I don't think maybe Bird don't, people don't really respect his
I was going to say he don't get the credit he should as a passer. Yeah, Bird was a great passer though. He was.
Yeah, Bird definitely don't get that passer.
You don't put your boy in that category, Tom? LeBron? LeBron.
No. No, I wouldn't say LeBron's a great passer. No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah. I probably can name off the top of my head, maybe 5, 6 guys that was better passers. Even though LeBron is a very good passer.
So what y'all think about Jason Williams being a passer? Mike Bibby, I seen y'all talking in the chat about them. You don't think
that said that Jason Williams was better than Mike Bibby? I don't know who that was.
But purely from a passing standpoint, how do you rank Jason Williams?
How you rate who?
I say
Jason.
White chocolate. The thing is with him that a lot of people get caught up in, and I said that on the chat thing. I say no, he was just more flashy. They had a deeper run. Mike Bibby was better. Mike Bibby was a better shooter, better leader. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't cheat. You couldn't cheat on Mike Bibby because he'd make a shot. And I ain't talking about a 3-pointer. I'm just talking about, a regular jump shot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Mike Bibby. Mike Bibby settled that team down. He got guys the ball in their spots. Now Jason Williams was flashy. If you want to highlight, you know what I mean? If you want to highlight, you're going to take Jason Williams. What they call white chocolate.
Yeah.
But he wasn't better than Mike Bibby to me. I only think it was close. And when Mike Bibby, when they made that move and Mike Bibby came, that's when they made that run to the Western Conference Finals. That's when they made that run to the Western Conference.
I remember Bibby.
I thought that Jason Williams, sometimes he caught you off guard with some of his passes, especially as a defender. Like, same way that like Roy, what's the dude, what's the boxing name? Like, it was kind of Roy Jones, like as a boxer, like certain things you're not supposed to do as a boxer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And White Chocolate was that dude, like certain things you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
As a
like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? He did a couple things. I'm like, oh, that was nice. Or like, whoa, you know what I mean? But but
but you can't make a living doing the spectacular though. You gotta have some
You gotta
You gotta have some discipline and some tact about you. You know what I mean? But man, White Chocolate was fun to watch.
Yeah, and then when it come down to it, you know what I mean, crucial moments of games and things like that, he wasn't that effective. He wasn't that effective.
I agree with Phil though. Phil just said that he just highlighted a video of Jason Williams. White Chocolate was unbelievable. I just agree with Tunk though. I just don't think White Chocolate was
you guys gonna laugh at me. You guys gonna laugh at me, but I think LaMelo Ball is an outstanding, the younger one. I think he's an outstanding passer. I do.
I think he's more like White Chocolate though. How deep can you go with that style of play? Like how much?
You think he's an outstanding passer?
Yes.
Dang.
Yes.
Damn.
I tell you what. His rookie year, when he came there, he lifted Charlotte up and took them they went to the playoffs with him. Yeah. They just were so young. Yeah. I think you put the right talent around him. Yeah, this boy can score. pass. He do everything, man. I don't know how he is defensively though.
Yeah, I don't know how he is defensively.
He big, man. He big.
He big. I love watching him. He's another one. I love watching him play. I
just ain't like that. He gave the dude like 4 or 5 dribbles, got him off of him, and then shot a fadeaway 3-pointer. I was like, that.
I love it though, man.
Yeah,
see, I love players that take chances.
Like, nah.
I love players that take chances, man.
East Side Legend want to know who is you guys top 5 NBA players of all time.
So you talking about position or just 5 players?
5 players.
Just 5 players. I'm
let you run it off first.
Top 5.
God damn.
That's
top 5, all shit. Two of them bigs for me. I'm putting Wilt, Kareem, Magic, Mike, and LeBron. Yeah, that's gonna be my 5 top players. God damn, that's tough though. That's tough.
Yeah.
Mine is Dream, Olajuwon, definitely Mike, Magic, I would put Bird in it.
Yeah, I gotta go Bird too.
And shit, who my 5th? Shit, oh man, I got Dream.
Yeah,
Dream, Bird, Magic, Mike. Yeah, that's that last one kind of tough.
You ain't got
trying to think of a great forward. See, Kobe and Mike is in that same spot to me.
Yeah.
So I would probably
but see, you can't don't do by position. Just do your
just
top
per
5
player.
Yeah, just 5 players.
Then I would put Kobe.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got Magic, I got Bird, I got Mike, I got Hakeem, and then I got Kareem.
Yeah.
They had, I saw the 88 All NBA team. The 88 All NBA team was Kareem, Barkley. No. Hakeem, Barkley, Bird, Mike, and Magic.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the 88 All NBA team. I said, damn, that's nasty.
Say it again. Who was it?
In the front court, it was Olajuwon, Bird, Barkley.
Oh.
In the back court, it was Mike and Magic.
Oh, all right.
I say that's nasty.
That's terrible. Yeah,
that is nasty.
That's terrible right there.
Yeah, boy, that's nasty.
So, look, Patrick M. Bong got he got Mike, Kareem, Kobe, Tim Duncan, and Magic in that order. They could do some damage right there. Yeah. Let me see what Top Gun. Top Gun got let me see. Top Gun said it's hard to pick 5. He said he got Mike, Bird, Magic, Duncan,
and Oscar,
right?
So that's what I'm saying, man. You start naming top 5s, man. Everybody gonna have a different one. You feel me? Everybody gonna have a different one, man. It's crazy.
Because I mean, Tim Duncan, man, like Tim Duncan had his career. Tim Duncan's career is like, in my opinion, on par with Kobe Bryant's career. You know what I mean? It's just that he wasn't as flashy as
But what about Diesel? Nobody said Diesel. You know what I'm saying? What about Diesel? You know what I mean?
What you think about Diesel? Diesel was just so dominant, though.
He's a dominant force, but I don't. I mean, if you can't hit free throws, man, you know, and you talking about being in the upper echelon with the Kareems and the Hakeems, and it's hard for me to put you there. I can't even put him over Moses.
That's right.
I can't do it.
Right.
I can't do it.
Mike, that's right, Mike. That's right.
I can't do it. Shaq is a beast, but I can't do it. And I think his offensive skills was limited. If he wasn't so big and dominant and powerful and strong, I don't think he would have been as effective because he didn't really have great skills. When you look at Wilt was the biggest thing in the league, but he was skillful.
Right.
He had so much skill with the basketball.
Right.
Shaq is pretty much,
but you know what?
goes out the way, dunk on you, you know.
But if he wasn't like that, maybe he would have been forced to develop some skills.
He may have been. Yeah, but why wouldn't, to ask you this question, why wouldn't what Akeem Olajuwon did to you make you not want to try to develop some more skill and stuff? Because this guy you going up against, he cooking you for lunch.
The thing I looked at that is that Diesel was still early in his career. He wasn't at the prime yet. And then once he got to his prime, he was so dominant, man. You know what I'm saying? So he probably like, why change? You know, why change now? You know what I'm saying?
But look, Tom, could that approach and that attitude that you just said that he had, could that be a part of why him and Kobe bumped heads?
Absolutely.
Kobe studied the games. Kobe wanted him to get better from a technical standpoint, not just, you know, like you get under the basket, pin your man and dunk on him, but everybody wasn't going to allow him after a while to do that. So he wanted him to develop some other skills.
And his conditioning.
Right.
And his conditioning, because Shaq was so big and so heavy, you know, you get a foot injury, ankle injury, somebody that big, man, you know what I'm saying? That's going to really take a toll. So so Kobe wanted him, you know what I mean, to get in shape, you know what I'm saying? So he could be, but you know, Shaq used to say, but everybody loved Shaq. So, you know, he got away with it. But Shaq used to say, man, I only need 60 games a year. I only need 50 games a year. You know what I mean? That's basically saying I play what I want. But when Randy Moss say that, they killed him. You know what I'm saying?
They killed Randy.
Right. But Diesel said the same thing. Oh, man, I need 60 games. I ain't got, but that's playing when you want. You know what I mean? They like Shaq, you know what I'm saying? And they, you know, they killed Randy for it.
Hey, let me ask y'all this. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. The big three yesterday, right? They had that was a good game between what did they call what was it? LA Riots, and I forgot the other team. Mike Beasley and Stevenson is on the same team, right?
Miami.
On the Miami team.
Yeah, the Miami team. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So they get into a fight. Lance Stevenson and I keep forgetting the guy's name.
Dwight Howard.
Yeah, Lance Stevens, Dwight Howard get into a fight yesterday. Both of them got ejected.
Yeah.
But what y'all think about that situation with those two guys? Now, I think
it went up in the crowd,
Beasley,
It went up in the crowd.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Nah, I just think even before the fight started, right? I'm watching the game. Mike Beasley was very animated. Then you know sometimes Lance Stevenson can be out of control and can be animated. You got Michael Cooper coaching, the old Laker legend, Michael Cooper coaching.
Yeah.
I just think that I don't know that team. I don't know if they had a temperament though to win that championship in that big three, just because those two guys can get a little bit out of control sometimes. You know what I mean? Like both two on different teams, I can see you managing those guys, but those guys, if one of those guys is your leader, you know what I mean, then they're gonna set the pace for that or the tone for that.
If one of them guys is your leader, you in trouble.
Right.
If one of them guys are your leader on the team, you in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have both of them. You're right, Mike.
They could be the best player on the team. They could be the most talented, but they can't be your leader.
Right, right. Yeah, I don't think they can be your leader. And then on top of that, you got to have a strong leader in front of those guys, somebody that those guys really respect.
Right. So tell me about the scuffle. What?
Well, from the very beginning of the game, Dwight Howard was elbowing and pushing people around and stuff. Lance Stevenson and his team, they was kind of complaining. Refs ain't really do too much about it, and I think that's what caused the scuffle. I think that it kind of got out of control, you know, as far as Dwight Howard was just pushing them guys around. It was some hard fouls both ways, you know what I mean? And then so Lance got into Dwight Howard's face.
Yeah.
And they just started scuffling. They went up into the crowd a little bit.
Didn't he put his finger in the white face or something?
Yeah, he did. He did.
And then the white smacked that shit down, and it was on. It was on after that.
I might go on YouTube and check it out.
You gotta check it out. You gotta check it out.
Now, the first thing I thought about when it went up into the crowd, I was like, "Is this a bad look for the big three?"
Right. That's right.
You know, but then I started thinking, but I don't necessarily believe it's a corporate crowd watching the big three.
It wasn't. I'm looking at the crowd with the cameras out and stuff, right?
Yeah,
I agree with that.
So it might not be such a black eye, and that's the first incident they ever had like that.
Right. Yeah.
Since the league been popping, but they
I was thinking the same thing though.
Huh?
I was thinking the same thing. Like this might not be a good look. Not that I think it's a good look now though, but I don't think it's going to be too serious because they just ejected them and they just kept it moving.
So so the guard against this happening again, you think is going to be officiated different?
I think they might have those guys take control sooner.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, what about the physical play? I didn't have a problem with the physical play. I think the referees just allowed these guys to do too much complaining. So if you're allowed to complain like that, and the refs be like, look, man, you got to either adjust or go sit down. But you talking a 3-on-3 wide open, you know what I mean? Like ain't no team defense, basically it's 1-on-1. So it's going to be some physical play.
Right.
Yeah.
So they got to adjust.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't.
Did you, Clayton? Did you see anything that you consider dirty though? As far as
no, it wasn't no dirty play in my opinion. Nothing was dirty.
Yeah, that means that as a player, you need to make that adjustment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like instead of carrying the ball all the way to the rim, then pull up for the mid range. You know what I mean? And bank it off the glass or something like that. But yeah, you had to make that adjustment.
And I think
go ahead, Clayton. Go ahead.
I just was saying I thought they did a great job because they ejected both players. Get them out of here. I thought that was good.
Yeah, they. But it's funny, man. It's like sometimes games like that. You want to draw contact, but don't foul me too hard. You know what I'm saying? It's always like I'm gonna go in and draw contact, but you better not foul me too hard. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Good luck in that league with that.
Good luck with that. Right.
Because like you say, it's just 1-on-1, so it's going to be a lot of bumping.
Man, we had practices, man, and dudes, because ain't nobody calling nothing, right? So dudes run, crack him. That's what dudes say. You got a breakaway layup, right? And you hear everybody behind you talk about crack him, whack him, right? You know what I'm saying? Then that's how fights start. You know?
It's a dude. We used to play Cumberland and Curry on Sunday mornings. It was a dude named Simon. Black as night, lean cut, big. Simon was not, and it wasn't dirty.
Right.
But he was known, he would set you up. They would run you into a pick. Simon was known to knock niggas out cold. I mean, just the contact you knocked out. And my homeboy Timmy was like that too, horse. They would set you up for that pick. It wasn't dirty, but they ran you into that motherfucker lights out. I was like, man,
so man, teammates for that. Like, man, call the pick out, man.
Right, you got it right. You can't let me get set up in that. So if you was new over there, they was trying to initiate your ass.
And let me ask y'all this then. So Mike Beasley and Lance Stevenson recently played a 1-on-1, right? Mike Beasley beat. Now they talking about, this might have some legs. This might be able to, turn into something. So some names was thrown out there, like you got Carmelo Anthony, you got Joe Johnson out there, right? Carmelo already said he's not really interested.
Yeah, he said that.
First matchup, what do y'all think about Mike Beasley and ISO Joe? Who y'all like in that matchup?
Joe Johnson.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Joe.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Joe.
Joe Johnson.
I'm gonna go with Joe.
Because one thing, Beasley can't bully Joe Johnson.
Not at all.
And you can't bully him. And then, no disrespect to Lance, because he did play in the NBA and things like that. So no disrespect to Lance, but he's not as good as Joe Johnson.
Not at all.
Yeah, he's not as good as Joe Johnson. And Joe Johnson, like you said, he got the nickname ISO Joe. So that's where he's best. You know what I mean? That's where he's best. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he could beat Joe Johnson. Melo said he wanted to see Beasley and Joe Johnson. I want to see that, right? So
I put my money on ISO Joe too, though.
Melo said, I support him, man. I would support this, but he said, I've been doing that my whole career in the league on the highest level. And I like, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I like that Melo, like, no, man, I'm not. I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm a top 10 scorer all the time, man. Hall of Famer. No, he didn't say that's beneath me, but that's how he spoke. You know what I'm saying? Felt like that.
Right. Like, man, that ain't something I partake in. You know what I mean? No, them guys not.
I would like to see. I would like, if they would have did it, I would have liked to see Melo and ISO Joe go at it though.
Yeah.
That would have been, you know what I mean? Because you got two. Melo got 28,000, over 28,000 career, and I think ISO Joe got like 23,000, something like that.
He got over 20,000 points. I ain't know that.
I think he do got over 20,000. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So that's, that right there would have been a hell of a matchup.
The guy I didn't know had over 20,000. I didn't know Antoine Jameson had over 20,000 points.
Antoine Jameson?
Yep, Antoine Jameson got over 20,000 points. I didn't even know that. I didn't
them longevity points.
Yeah. So that means he was effective for a long time, man. You know what I'm saying?
He was effective, though.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in DC? Didn't he play for the Wizards?
Yeah. He played for I know he played for Golden State.
He played for the Wizards.
But he played for the Wizards, and I think he used to score a lot with the Wizards, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't remember.
He was there for a while when Gilbert was there, right?
Yeah, he would put up 30 and shit like that.
He was with them. He was on the team with Caron Butler and all them.
Yeah, Caron Butler and them. Caron Butler was nice too, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, he would.
I thought the Wizards was going to do something when they had that team.
They let LeBron send him home, though.
LeBron beat him like 2 out of 3 years or something, man. They should have beat LeBron in one of them years, man.
Okay.
Beat LeBron in one of them years.
Yeah, man. Let me see what else I got here. Yeah, man. I just wanted to talk about that big three, though. Yeah. Jim was supposed to come on, man. All right, let me ask y'all real quick, though, about the game tomorrow. Who y'all like tomorrow? That's game 5. This a pivotal.
It really is. It really is.
It's monumental, Jack.
It's the game.
You're right. I believe it is. I think whoever go up 3-2, they got a chokehold on the series, man. I really do.
Who is where they playing at? I forgot where they're
OKC.
Ooh.
Man, OKC gets off the plane. It's 3:00 in the morning. Fans lined up, greeting them. They already giving them that energy, man.
Yeah.
Greeting them 3:00 in the morning. It's gonna be hard for Indy to beat OKC this next, because they already got one. Can you really see OKC dropping 2 at home?
I know.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough. I ain't counting Indy out. I learned that lesson.
Right.
It's gonna be tough.
Any better, they better, strap up, be ready for the fight. You know what I'm saying? They better be ready for the fight.
Well, look, like I said earlier, though, both teams gonna come ready, because when you listen to the leaders of each team and you hear their mentality and stuff like that. So I don't think neither one of these guys is really gonna take this opportunity for granted. Like Indiana,
I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that last game, they kind of went away from Siakam, though. Late in the game, they went away from him. I ain't get that. I really ain't get that.
Yeah.
I just thought and you're right about that, Tunk, but I also just thought that they missed too many free throws down the stretch. It's like they got tight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they did.
You know what I'm saying? And they didn't have an answer for. I mean, Shea took him home, but that boy Williams, they couldn't stop him. Yeah. Every time Indy would go on a run, try to get some separation, Williams hit a big basket. Go to the basket.
Like, man, they have trouble defending him.
Yep. Jalen Williams is a problem.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because they denied Shea the ball a lot. They was denying Shea the ball a lot. But he was like, okay, you know what I mean? I can do my thing now. You know what I'm saying? And he was a lot of times working one-on-one in space.
In space,
in space, man. Yeah,
he was going all the way downhill, finishing at the basket.
They
didn't have nothing for him.
Yeah,
I like that kid. I like him, man.
Oh yeah. Well, let me ask y'all this:
Are
they? Because I spoke about this with other, even Tunk. I spoke about this earlier this week with Tunk. And I know it might be a little bit premature. Are they going to be able to keep these kids together though? Like after the, you know what I mean? Like these contracts and stuff like this.
I think they go. I think they will. Nobody talking. These young guys. So they still, under contract where you still might have them for another 3 years or something like that. These young guys. We ain't talking about they didn't reach where as though they ready for that real super max deal. Maybe then, maybe you can't then. You know what I'm saying? But like the next couple seasons, they should be able to chill.
And that's what my argument was, right? Because I'm thinking it's not always just about the money. It's like if you win a championship now, like even one of these teams, you on a cusp of maybe doing something special, right? So as soon as like somebody put that payday out in front of you, do you leave the opportunity to make something special in your career, or do you take the money? And so the money is not, I don't think it's like always automatic with the money.
Well, some people might argue. How much money? You know what I mean? That's the thing. If one team offering you $5 million a year, another team offer you 20, you're gonna take that 20. But if the offers are close, you know what I'm saying? If the offers are close, you know what I mean? But everybody different. Everybody different. You know what I'm saying?
Call me crazy, but I think parity is emerging in the NBA. And I don't know if you're going to have people run off 2 and 3 championships in a row anymore.
Well,
call me crazy.
No, that ain't crazy at all, because this year going to be the 7th different champion in the last 7 seasons. I didn't even know that. Even know that. There's going to be the 7th different champion in the last 7 seasons. So I think the parity is already in full effect. You know what I'm saying? I think it's already in full effect.
Because Detroit coming up. Detroit coming up. Houston had a great season. New York still around. Indy, Milwaukee. Minnesota. Like all these teams, man. I wouldn't be surprised, man, if
they was in it next year. You know what I'm saying?
Right. One of them other teams is in it next year.
I don't really like parity though, because I think I want to see how good this team can get with everybody giving them their A game. You know what I mean? Like like year after year and enduring different types of obstacles in their way. So I think, to me, that just, you know what I mean? To me, that makes a better story than next year the Wizards. We be like, the Wizards going to do it next year. Then next year Sacramento going to do it. That's kind of,
I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, I wouldn't mind, different teams winning. Yeah. But see, we thought that about Denver. Remember, we like Denver. It might be, you know what I'm saying?
And they wasn't able to.
Right.
And you said it yourself, Mike. You really enjoyed this postseason. You really enjoying what you're watching right now.
I enjoy. That's what I'm saying. All right, I'm enjoying this postseason because of the style of basketball that both of these teams are playing. Right, they scoring at all 3 levels with the and the mid-range game is being featured a lot more. You know what I mean? So, but you can still build on that, because now whoever win this game and the style that they win this game, like whoever got to go to the drawing board and come back next year, you're gonna have to develop a game plan to counter what you just lost to. So that's going to add, like, in my opinion, more drama to what we just seen this year.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I want to see them get better and get pushed every year.
They can get better, but the league itself could be getting better as well. So, and to me, if you got more parity and then they overcome that, that's to me, that's a bigger feather in their cap. If you don't have an OKC running off 68 wins, if what I'm saying, if it's more like a lot of teams in the 40s and then one got fit, you know what I'm saying? You just never know. That might be good basketball.
All right, so parity. All right, so Boston won last year and they fell off this year.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking forward to seeing if Boston can overcome all those obstacles.
Come back. Yeah.
New York is coming back. New York out for blood. Indiana out for blood.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that's what we used to.
But that's different teams, though, Mike.
Yeah.
Well, you say that's different. But look, that's what I'm saying. I wanted Boston. That's why I was picking Boston to do it, because I want to see if Boston, New York was on their heel. Indiana was on their heel. So if they could have overcame that, that means that that's why they say it's hard to repeat, because now you got to raise your game to a different level. Like the way you won last year is not going to be the way you win this year. That's why the Chicago Bulls three-peated 2 different times. You know what I mean? So when you got somebody, people actually, they study your game and they developing ways to defeat you, and you're going to repeat and three-peat. Didn't Kobe them three-peat one time?
Mm-hmm. Him and Shaq. Yeah. But man, I mean, to me, I thought they repeated. I thought the Bulls did it in them playing the same way.
No, the Bulls, but they maintained their level of play. Mike never like.
So that's what his main challenge was, Mike. You want to see like a team be able to withstand the challenges and do it again. That's what you're saying. You want to see.
Yeah, because when you're a Chicago Bull and you go to play the Wizards, you know you're gonna get their A game. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody, you're not catching nobody off guard. And if you're not catching nobody off guard for 3 years, 6 years, that make just for drama. Then on top of that, then you got the fan bases that are included in that. So your fan base love you because you able to maintain that standard of winning. Not only maintain it, but you got to elevate it. You know what I mean? So every year,
you look at it 2 different ways. I'm more. I think I'm leaning on the side with Clayton when it comes to this, man. Like, I would love like next year you see what's the team?
Zion. Well, you want to see Zion do it one year?
Yeah, I want to see Sacramento in it. You know what I'm saying? Let me see Sacramento and one in Cleveland on the other side and let them battle it out or something like that. Or like you saying about Detroit, let Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
Battle up and come. Yeah.
Let them battle it out with Minnesota in the championship next year or something like that. I would like just to see other players be showcased on that stage. You know what I'm saying? Just let other players be showcased on that stage.
But look, I'll say this. I don't know. I don't have a preference. But I'm willing to let the league surprise me, because the league surprised me this year. Yeah. It was great basketball. That game I watched the other night, I watched it from beginning to end, and I was pleasantly surprised, and it drew me in. So I don't want to put it in a box saying I need this to happen. I just want to let the stars keep emerging and the play keep doing what it do, and to me, it's creating its own theater, and I like it.
Well, then we were talking about KD earlier. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He'll shift a little bit. Bounce a little bit, depending on where he end up. You know what I'm saying? He might.
Look at it. Look at this though. Mm-hmm. And the Lakers and the Celtics was doing their things in the 80s, right? Mm-hmm. You got great basketball being played across the board. You had the Dallas Mavericks, who was good. Mm-hmm. You had Sidney Moncrief and them dudes over there with Milwaukee. They was good. You know what I mean? And so then you had Detroit up and coming. Then you had Atlanta up and coming. So you was getting great basketball. That's not just to say like all the great. The league was just so tough. And then Magic was just so dominant. Houston Rockets, you know what I mean? You had the Twin Towers back. Man, so you're going to get some great basketball. So that's not really counting out Detroit. Everybody just got to continue to get better. That's not counting out Cleveland. Boston gonna have to make a comeback, so you're gonna get some great basketball. But Top Gun says that Sacramento ain't happening for a long time, for a while, for a long time.
Not them, I was just using them as an example.
It's just an example, right?
Let the Clippers get up in there with Harden and with Harden. Let them make a run. You know what I'm saying? I just don't mind seeing other teams on that stage. That's all. Yeah, just being a fan. You know what I mean? Just being a fan.
That's just like when Ali was Ali. You know what I mean? Like, and when Ali was boxing, you had some guys that was in their top 10 And Ali was going up and down, you know, fighting all of them. And you got a bunch of good fights during that time when Ali,
but that belt changed hands too.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so that, you know, that made it great, even greater, you know, for how he kept recapturing the title. That was great.
Yeah.
You know,
just like Magic and Bird was going
yeah,
back and forth.
going back and
Magic
forth,
got 5, Bird got 3. You know what I mean? But in between, you know, you had Foreman, Ken Norton, Frazier, you know, all that, man.
But I will say the NBA, the postseason, it's been a pleasant surprise. Also, March Madness last year was a pleasant surprise. So, you know, it's been entertaining for me.
Let's hope the college football playoff live up to that, you know, that new format that they, you know what I mean, that they have. I hope the college football thing live up to that format as well.
Yeah.
No. And to be honest with you, I didn't start having these conversations with you guys. If it wasn't for this and maybe Caitlin, I probably wouldn't even be engaged anymore. So you guys did that for me, you know, gave me some entertainment.
I had stopped following the WNBA too until like that last year when she was playing at Iowa and her and South Carolina and LSU and all them teams was in the mix. I was like, there's gonna be some stuff at that next level.
Yeah, but this show, you guys made me start watching Ant-Man. Remember when we was going down in the studio? And when you first talked about this, Mike, I was just coming to do the one. And I was like, I ain't really watching sports no more. He said, yeah, but you know, and then I started watching. So, you know, and then I started getting, you know, really being surprised. Yeah.
I told you, it's just like riding a bike. We used to sit in the back of the classroom and talk basketball all day long.
All the time. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's all we're doing now, just sitting in the back of the classroom talking basketball.
The NBA has a great product right now. They have they're in a great position. Now let's just see, you know, if the casuals really captivate the casuals with this finals, see what happens. But I definitely know that Tyrese Halliburton and Shea, they got a whole new slew of fans. If there's any casual people that watch, I know they done got locked in because both these guys are terrific. They're terrific, man.
After this, man, both of them are household names now.
Yeah. These guys are terrific. Yeah.
So do y'all think, before we get out of here, one last question. Do y'all think that like this year, the ratings are not really up, right? But going forward, do y'all think like this going to drum up some momentum? These two young guys going to be able to drum up some momentum and then catch a wave like going forward?
Yeah, well, it depends on how this finals play out. So far, it's been great. If they play out with great theater, then you're going to have the sports talk shows and the media having content to keep running and drawing the interest, you know, around the storylines and stuff. You definitely got the personalities there. So it depends on how it play out. If it go to game 7 and it's great theater, but even if it's not, it just depends on how the sports media talk about this finals and talk about these teams moving forward. You got to keep it in the conversation. You got to keep it in people's brains. Keep showing the highlights, you know, and get people to draw in. Yeah.
And I think the fact that Shea, I agree with everything Clayton said. And the fact that Shea is an MVP, I think that'll help keep, you know, keep him in the mix and keep him, you know, he was MVP and went to the finals, whether they win it or not. You know, MVP seasons and they go to the finals. Now, if they win it, you know, on top of him winning MVP, he's a champion. On top of that, so I definitely agree with that. And that'll be a talking point going forward. You know what I'm saying? That'll be a talking point. And for Indiana as well, if they were to lose, it's still with them going to the NBA finals, kind of like no one really expect them to, you know what I mean, make that kind of leap. So I see it.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all. Man.
And Mike, real quick, a few weeks ago we talked about who was more popular in Indianapolis, Tyrese or Caitlin. And I just want you to know
a whole nother hour.
No. I just want you to know what Siakam said. Siakam said it's Caitlin by far.
We can talk about it. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, and he played with Tyrese, but he said it's Caitlin by far.
Right, and I agree. I can't. I agree. It's Caitlin by far. I agree.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's Caitlin by far. But my point was though, I said you can start a whole nother hour. My point is, if Tyrese win that chip, you know what I mean? But we could talk about it. We'll get into it.
Yeah, that's another conversation.
Yeah.
See how the finals play out. And but that's what's up.
All right, man. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Like I said, I want to thank Kent Carlson. I don't know if Kent was in the chat today. I want to thank Kent Doe for his input. I want to thank Top Gun, Ghost, JoJo West, Austria. Who else? Time. Appreciate you, Time, for being in there, participating. Who else was in here? I seen. Eastside Legend. Appreciate you. Phil, man.
My man never answered my question. Courtside Junkie.
Oh, Courtside. Yeah, appreciate you, Courtside.
He
Yeah,
never answered me.
Who was that? Patrick M. Mong. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, man. We had a lot of good a lot of good comments in the chat, man, that really carried the show, that helped to carry the show. So I appreciate that.
Can I wish them guys a happy Father's Day?
No doubt.
Yeah, or anybody out there that's a father, happy Father's Day. Enjoy y'all day out there.
Mo Palmer. Yeah. So yeah, we had a lot of good so all right, fellas,
right, man. All right, fellas.
Happy Father's Day. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. We be back next Saturday at 1 p.m. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that being said, we will check y'all out next Saturday. Peace.
All right.